CMB, and also all of the other major lines, right? So if you have ever sat on the train in Malaysia, more likely than not, Peter was the one managing as well, and he was sharing with us, how at times mega projects can be really, really stressful. Where when he was dealing with his last mile delivery for the Johor line, right? And then he got the news to say, hey, our king right now will be riding on that train, so make sure that he doesn't screw up, right? And so he was sharing with us the importance of being able to take care of our personal well-being, because it's one thing to be able to build up all of this money, all of this wealth, but what's the use if we destroy ourselves in the process? And so, how many of you are committed to taking care of yourself? Type in care in the chat if you are committed to taking care of yourself, right? Because as much as, we love to say hustle, 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 it's also important to take care of yourself as well. So good to say care, care, care coming in the chat. Care, absolutely excellent. Okay, so so Peter shared with us a very powerful a model in order to really reflect upon ourselves. And we also have, and today, in today's session, we will be sharing with you automated daily options income. You also saw, a very quick preview of what Terence has to share today, where yesterday he shared with you the power of a system that he personally developed that was able to stand through these crazy turbulent periods in the market, right? By trading with his powerful options strategy. And just out of curiosity, how many of you are familiar with options trading? If you are, type in 1 in the chat. If you aren't, type in 2 in the chat so that we can have a good idea of where everybody is at. Okay, so quite a number of tools coming into the chat, right? So make sure you stick around, because your eyes will be opened to a whole new world of possibilities when it comes to options trading, when Terence will be coming up later to share with us about it as well. Okay, so I see most, if not all of you, are not familiar with options trading. So today's session is going to be very, very, very exciting. Okay, and as promised, we also say, we do have a digital bonus from Vince, and this exclusive bonus is reserved for those of you who stays until the end of today's session, right? And yes, we can give a round of virtual applause to Vince for being so kind to give this digital bonus away, right? It is an uncensored interview on the 8-figure business, where it's an unfiltered conversation on what it actually takes to build an 8-figure business. And regardless of where you are in your business journey, when you listen and dig into this insight, it is going to lay the solid foundations for all of you. All right. So as mentioned within the chat as well, right, we've prepared an exclusive digital product worth $297 USD for those of you who stay until the end. And if you happen to be watching this on the live stream right now, you have the opportunity to join us in this room right now, okay, by clicking on the link. It's probably in the description or maybe in the comment section, so that you can be entitled to this digital bonus as well, right? And make sure that you stick through until the end so that you are eligible to claim it, because our team will be exporting the final report to see, okay, who really showed up, stick around, and who will be entitled to it as well. Okay, I see a thanks in advance as well to Vince. Okay, awesome. Okay, and not only that, we shared with you yesterday, okay, 5 masterclasses fully sponsored by all of our guest speakers yesterday, or well, 5 of our guest speakers yesterday, right? So if you haven't claimed your seat for the Growth and Wealth Masterclass series, where it's 5 sessions fully sponsored at no cost to you, you can register now at scalendo.com/ TGWR-series. Okay, I repeat, it's scalendo.com/TGWR series. And if you and basically when you visit that link, which I'll share within the chat as well, this is where you will see the Growth and Wealth Masterclass Series 2026 with a combined value of over $16,000. And it's not an exaggeration. We cannot guarantee that in the future, these masterclasses will ever be sponsored. So while you have the opportunity to do so, make sure that you reserve these free seats, because this is the full series at a glance that you'll be able to get from our partners and expert speakers. Number one is on legacy and succession, where we call it the Lighthouse 360 Life Design Essentials with Peter Wiss, right? Where most people spend their entire lives building wealth, but never design the life that wealth is meant to serve. So Peter, across 3 days, will be sharing with you his most powerful strategies to not only build wealth, but to sustain it as well. This is live and online. And next, after you build up that wealth, what do you need to do? You want to optimize it as well, right? Right? If you love to optimize your tax, type in optimize in the chat if you love to optimize your tax. Because who actually wants to pay unnecessarily to the government? Okay, all right. Lei Bing, who is a senior tax consultant for 4 public listed companies here in Malaysia, will be sharing with you how you can optimize your tax, right? So that you can maintain and grow your wealth. Okay, so that is a 2 days masterclass, absolutely free for you, live online as well. And masterclass number 3 is the Revenue Multiplier Masterclass. You heard from Samantha yesterday on overcomingly seemingly insurmountable challenges. Now, with this masterclass, she will be sharing with you from her decades of experience in the banking industry and training up sales teams and leaders all within her bank. She is finally revealing to you the secrets on multiplying your revenue. So make sure that you don't miss out on this 2 days session as well. That's the Revenue Multiplier Masterclass by Samantha Leong. And masterclass number 4 is Ascend 360, Emotional Intelligence for Leaders. How is it that you can up your emotional quotient, right? So that you become a magnet to the people around you. Rather than repelling them, you are actually attracting them into your lives. And I believe that when it comes to business, when it comes to building your wealth, it is a long-term game, right? And how many of you are here for the long term? Type in long term in the chat if you're here for the long term. You're not just here for a hit and run, a quick cash grab, but you truly want to serve. You truly want to build sustainable wealth. Okay, great to see all of the long-term thinkers over here, because now more than ever, it is important for us to have that sort of long-term thinking. And especially when you start mastering the strategies of automated daily options income, when you have this long-term mindset, you will see your wealth compound. All right, so make sure you stay tuned as well. Okay, so that is Ascend 360. And this masterclass 5 of 5, the Business and Fundraising Intensive Masterclass. This is one masterclass that you do not want to miss. I'm in the midst of discussing with Aru Kanda, right, in conducting this masterclass together, right? He is a senior investment banker. You know, he's done deals, you know, in London, in the Middle East, and you know, of course, in corporate Malaysia as well. When it comes to business, when it comes to fundraising, he is definitely the man to learn from, because not only has he raised millions, he has also managed billions and billions of dollars. All right, billions and billions of dollars. How many of you are actually excited for this lineup? Type in excited in the chat if you're actually excited for this masterclass lineup that we have. Okay, because to bring all of these experts together is no easy feat, and also to have them so graciously sponsor these masterclasses. Make sure that when you register, you also show up for these events. Okay, right? Because once you click on register, right, all you need to do, right, it'll give you a summary over here. Just scroll down, fill in your details. Okay, fill in your details, phone number, right, so that you get the reminders to not miss the master classes, right? Key in your country, tick the box, claim your free seat. And not only that, we also do have a bonus offer for you as well. Okay, because not only will you get the 5 masterclasses, but if you want to be able to gain access to the replays, you will see that there is a silver offer over here where you get the masterclass series recordings, all 5 of it, right? And then you can rewatch it over and over and over again. That is at only $50. Okay, because as mentioned, we cannot guarantee that in the future these masterclasses will be conducted, or even it will be fully sponsored, right? And if you want to take it to the next level, how many of you would actually like to meet Arul Kanda live in person and maybe even have an intimate dinner together with him, right? So that he can understand your business better, and maybe even potentially explore ways on how he could work together with you as well, right? Type in me in the chat if you would be interested, because this is what's offered in the gold package, where you will not only will you get the masterclass series recordings, you also get this exclusive dinner together with Arul Kanda, right? And together with myself as well. Tentatively, the date is set for July 31st. The seats are extremely limited. Probably 10 seats or so is what we can guarantee, right? So if you want to make sure that you secure your spot right now, okay, you can head on to scalendo.com/TGWR-series. Make sure you register for the five master classes, and then it will send you to this upgrade option where you can secure your gold pass for only $100. We will be going to Peter Wiss's Chalet Swiss restaurant in Ampang, Kuala Lumpur. Okay, it is the only Swiss restaurant in Malaysia with 30 years of history. You don't want to miss out on this amazing ambiance and also this dinner together. All right. So, seats are already going fast. While you can, make sure that you secure it today. All right. So, with that, how many of you are in, right? If you have registered, type into the chat. If you are already in, you have secured your spot for the master classes, and if you have secured your gold ticket, type in gold in the chat as well if you happen to have done so. Because today, in today's session, okay, continuing on to the growth and wealth roundtable, we are going to share with you, okay, an exclusive insight on how you can start automating your income on a daily basis virtually, right? How many of you would love to automate? Type in auto in the chat if you'd love to automate your income on a daily basis. Because up next, we have Terence Tan, okay, who is the founder of the I'm Possible Investors Investing School and the creator of Asia's first income investing program designed to help retail investors just like yourself generate consistent stock market income without needing large capital. And since 2011, Terence has guided thousands of students to collectively earn over $5 million in investment income, right? Making impossible one of Asia's most trusted and results-driven investment programs. And with over 20 years of experience in stock options, futures, commodities, and forex, Terence is widely known in the region as one of the most well-rounded trading educators here. And he has coached the likes of DBS Bank Singapore and has even lectured in the Diploma in Wealth Management program with Singapore's Entrepreneur Resource Center. And little do people know that he's also a former elite athlete. Terence is a 6-time SEA Games gold medalist with the Singapore water polo teams. And Terence essentially believes that stock market success is not rocket science. It's about applying simple, proven processes. And his mission is to help everyday retail traders just like yourself achieve financial freedom through structured mentoring and hands-on guidance, even if you're just starting with a modest capital. So without further ado, let's give a warm round of virtual applause to Terence Tan.
All right. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Tingyu. And I'm taking over the show, everybody. All right. Now, so let's go create some form of automated investment income for all of you, right, to end this eventful night. All right. I think that's the best way to do it. Right. And before I begin over here, let's go for some participation. How many of you would agree that this market that we're looking at right now, the stock market that we all see on a day-to-day basis, is absolutely out of control? All right, okay, if you agree it's out of control, can you type an O right now in the chat box, or you can type 0 as well? All right, it's absolutely out of control. Type O. All right, okay, good. All right, now, so if you are going to put your investment dollar, your money, which you took a hard-earned effort, right, to build it, to save it, all right, and now you want to invest it to grow. All right, how many of you believe that having an experienced trader, right, beside you, showing you the ropes and telling you how to go about achieving success, right, is actually a very, very key important factor, right, to how you get what you want. All right, okay, if you agree with what I just said as well, type K right now in the chat box for key. All right, okay, type K in the chat box for key. All right, so thank you, Samantha. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you, Melwin. All right, that's an interesting name. All right, thank you, Andrew. All right, now, so with that, all right, enough said over here. I'm going to take all of you tonight in this webinar to help you discover, all right, a proven trading system that I've taken years and years and years of all my experience over here, right, and to now build in this current ever-changing marketplace, right, that we are seeing, not just because of AI, but how things have changed, right? Humans have changed, all the youngsters' mentality have changed, right? And that has also evolved the stock market of what we know, all right? And I'm going to take you to this new kind of environment, all right, and show you how to stop losing money from today onwards. All right, so I think this is a very, very important goal for all of us to actually start on. Right? And I say this because many of you are thinking about how I can make millions and millions and millions. But have you ever figured, right? Like some of what Ching Yu has said earlier, right? Have you figured out how to stop the gap first? Right? Get meaning. Have you figured out how to stop the money from flowing out? All right. So if I can just help you see that you can stop losing money tonight, you are left to imagine how much more you can make after that. All right, so this hopefully is a very, very key ingredient, right, of how we start the session tonight. All right, and after I have achieved this, I am then going to scale and move on to then build, okay, and let you see how you would be able to automate the entire trading strategy, right, that I'm going to bring to the table and break apart for all of you to see, not just the good, but I'll also show you the bad and the ugly so that you can make a very, very informed decision if this strategy is for you or not. Okay, and then when you automate all of this, you will actually be able to get all that money, all the results by doing as little work as possible. All right, now, so of course, whatever I'm saying over here should always be taken with a pinch of salt. All right, so what I've also organized is that I brought on one of my students over here to actually share his X Factor journey, right, with all of you before I officially commence. All right, now I'm doing this so that you can set an aim and a goal for yourself, because he is not different from any of you. In fact, looking at the poll just now, all right, many of you are actually unfamiliar with the topic of options investing. All right, and this student that I brought on over here, right, is equally unexperienced. All right, so prior to joining our program, prior to joining our mastermind and live trading session, all right, he has no knowledge about options trading as well. All right, so what I'm saying is, if he can do it, all of you can as well. All right, so let's quickly listen to what Daryl has to share with all of you, all right, and then we'll jump back in, all right, and get the strategy session started immediately after that, everybody. So here's Daryl. Listen carefully to what he has to say to all of you.
I attended the bootcamp in March. Then in April, 1st April if I remember, I did my first live trade and it was a win. You know what? Despite all the market volatility and tariff news, I still saw wins consistently. It's because the strategy works. And it works straight out of the box. By the time I was close to my 50th trade, I had already achieved 100% ROI. That, my cost fees was already paid for. And by the time I hit my 60th trade, the 60-day challenge or 60 trade challenge, I was around 142% of my ROI. All this was while holding on to a full-time job because the system was clear, structured, disciplined, and there's no guesswork required. And best of all, there's no sleepless nights. For me, I finally found a mentor who taught me how to fish. And I can apply whatever he taught me immediately. So if you're still searching, my story resonates for you. You need to take the first step. It's going to be the hardest, but it might change everything. Terrence, thanks for everything.
All right, now, so that's Daryl and his journey on X Factor together with us, right? And how many of you will also admit and agree, right, that it is important to analyze an entire strategy success, not with the first trade, not with the second trade, not with the fifth trade that you took with the strategy itself, but after 60 consecutive trades, right, now you can kind of formulate, right, a reasonable level of success, right, that the strategy has brought you, right? And if it works, it's probably going to continue working, right, as long as you trade and you use it as well. Right now, so the key over here, right, of what Daryl said is, what did I do to actually give him the confidence, right, that he had to immediately get started, right, trading live together in sessions together with me, right, and actually got the results that he built, right? Because it's no mean feat, right? Achieving 160% returns after just 60 trades, right? Learning a new system, a new strategy, all right? And if he can do it, all of you can as well. Why? Because this strategy is built with a clear edge for success. Right? It's not just built, right, on what I think, what I feel, right? It is built on tests that I've made on real options historical prices inside the stock market. All right, so what I've done over here is I formulated the strategy, and then I took the strategy to test it, all right, on real historical prices that have been traded in the stock market itself with the strategy I built, all right, and running a test over a 3-year period, as you can see on the slide, all right, yielded a total of 2,400 trades. Yeah, okay, I'm just going to round it up to make it simple. 2,400 occurrences. So you have to agree, if this works, it's going to keep working for a very long time, because I didn't test it on 10 trades. I didn't test it on 15 trades. I tested this on 2,400 occurrences, right? And it would have produced 75.6% winners, right? And I want to say one thing on top of that. This test over here excludes all news events. Like today, we have the FOMC interest announcement. Is it going to move market? For sure. It probably will. Right? So on such days where markets are expected to go crazy, can you actually just step aside for one day, right, to avoid a risky trade? You can. All right? And that trade, if it turns out to be a loser in this test, right, it would have then been avoided. All right? Now, so my experience and my worth is to bring all the escape routes, all right, to losing trades to your vision, so that when you trade together with me, right, we will take this model over here, right, and push the actual success rate of how we do things even higher than what you see over here right now. Right? And using a small simple capital of $6,000, right, to trade this strategy, it would have brought about a $25,000 profit in a short span of 3 years. Now, so some of you will now be wondering, Terrence, do I need $6,000 to be able to do this? And the answer is no. So why do you show me a test of $6,000? Because with a capital of $6,000, if you trade the strategy I built, right, you will actually be able to pull an average of about 200 US dollars from the stock market on a daily basis, right? So how many of you like the idea of making 200 US dollars before you go to bed every single night, right? If you do, can you type 200 right now in the chat box, everybody? Type 200 if you like the idea of being able to make this amount every single night, right, before you head off to bed. All right, great, thank you. All right, okay, thank you, Rebecca. Thank you, Cyril. All right, thank you, Celine. All right, Vivian. All right, it's all good. And can you see that right now? If you are only going to require a capital of $6,000 to be able to achieve this feat, would you say it's a big amount of income? No. Would you say it's a humongous amount of capital? No. Have you figured out why am I saying this? Because if you make $200 a night, right, you have an average about 4 weeks in an entire month. Have you realized you're making about $4,000 every single month? So if you start off with $6,000 and then you add on $4,000 in profitability on a monthly basis, can you imagine just how quick your account can actually be growing, right, if you continue to hit this success button? All right, now, so never has the stock market been able to allow people to see, right, such high winning odd percentages on any strategies that have been built, right, with such consistency, right, that allows them to grow a small amount of capital, right, into something significantly bigger in such a short span of time. All right, now, so technology has done a lot for us, but has technology done any change to your investment and how you grow your money yet? Right? If you have not, this is probably another opportunity that you want to grab into your hands right now. Because have you missed making millions during the meme stock wave? Right? That's what we call it. Right? If you did, it's gone. It's not coming back. Have you missed out on buying AI stocks because you're just too afraid to get in early? You missed it. It's gone as well. All right, now, but here is an opportunity right in front of you, right? And I want you to be brave enough tonight in this session to finally step up so that you don't have to be left crying, right, a couple of months later, a few years later, saying that, man, I just missed another opportunity. How many of these am I going to miss, right? That would be the biggest regret you have. All right, now, so once again, right, my introduction over here is, my name is Terrence, right, and I help normal people figure out how to stop losing money, right? Especially when they don't know what's going wrong, right? Now, so I come in, I step in, I offer to be their mentor, right? And then we do this together, right? And start making things right. Now, so today I'm going to share with you my X Factor trading strategy. So I built this strategy entirely from scratch, right? Trading the 0 DTE options, which the market is now, right, exploding by storm. All right, okay, now it's really exploding in the stock market. I'll show you some proof later on. Right now, and I turn normal people into profitable traders in the shortest amount of time possible, right? Without the need for huge amounts of capital, right? If you have 1,000 US dollars to start this journey, you're in, everybody. That's the only capital you require, right? 1,000 US dollars, and you can make your first trade together with me in the coming week. Yes, you heard me right. In the coming week, I love to start my students, right, in the shortest, quickest time possible. All right, now, so with that, let's go on, everybody. Now, so tonight is all about the next big opportunity, right? So stock market keeps bringing on all these waves and waves over and over and over again, right? But yet, some of us have already missed wave after wave after wave. Let me bring you myself. I missed the dot-com wave. So the dot-com boom came and it went. It was gone, right? And then I missed the whole subprime wave. Right? It was too risky. I didn't dare to put too much money in it. Right? And then it busted. So it's gone as well. Right? And then came, right, the COVID correction. Right? And then the birth of meme stocks. Right? Okay, I didn't trust those stocks because it was very fundamentally driven. So I missed that window of opportunity as well. Right? But then, right, many others came with AI stocks. Right? Okay, so what I've been doing is generating very consistent returns, right? Like what we call, right, the blue collar workers of investing, right? Growing my wealth at a very steady pace, right? Using options. But now this new opportunity is exactly where my forte is. I've been an option trader for more than 20 years now, right? And this next big opportunity that I'm talking with you about tonight happens in the options itself. All right, okay, now, so this is the first time, right, the industry has made a big change, right, in the product of options trading, right? And it's the first time, right, they have changed it for a very long time, right? And this change is not new by the time we speak. This change has actually been birthed for about 30 months already, right? And it's continuing to take over the market, right, despite having such a short lifespan. I think that's the way I can put it, right? And you need to jump in, right? Because the earlier you jump in over here, right, the bigger your benefit is going to be, all right, okay, to grab whatever is available. Yeah, okay, now, so in fact, many of my students have joined me early, right, like Jasmine over here, right, is now exploding with success, right, with this trading recipe. All right, now I managed to note 17 consecutive wins since your coaching back on 18 December. Right, so he made $560 in profits on a small little $2,000 account in just 1 month. This is from December to January. So in just 1 month, he has already built a respectable 28% return on his account after just completing the workshop itself. All right, so would you like to be able to do this on your first month as well? All right, if this is something you aspire to, can I get you to type 1 right now, right, if you want to follow the ropes of Jasmine and what he has done? All right, okay, go ahead and type 1, all right, if you think this is what you want as well. Okay, good. All right, so Vivian, Rebecca, thank you very much. All right, so I'm going to keep moving, all right, because in today's webinar, all right, I want to try to keep things as short and sweet as possible, all right, and this is what all of you are going to learn and discover. Number 1, you're going to see the fastest and the easiest way for you to trade together with me so that you can create profits from the market, right, as often, right, as a daily basis. Right, and number 2, right, how you can actually set up all these trades I'm talking about, right, and actually build yourself an 80% win rate. So what are we going to do is we're going to start running the stock market like a formal business. People go to the stock market to speculate. People treat the stock market as a casino. But tonight, I'm actually going to teach you how to operate the casino itself. Right? We're going to be the house. And you have heard this term before. What happens to the house? The house always, I think you got the point. Yeah, okay, now, so if we are going to be the house, right, there's no other way for us than to win. Right? And I'm going to show you how you can do this even if you're a complete newbie. Yeah, so you might think, Terence, can I do this? You can. That's what I'm telling you. You can. Everybody has this ability, right? And even if you don't, all right, I will guide you there. All right, that's my job. All right, just put your faith, all right, in whatever I'm telling you after what you've heard. Yeah, okay, now next, number 3, how you can do as little as possible because of automation these days and still be able to collect these profits before you go off to bed. All right, and this automation, right, is what we call, right, like Chingy used the language, so I probably can, kind of follow as well, kick ass. I wouldn't normally use this kind of language in sessions, but since he did it, I will. Yeah, okay, now, so it's great, okay, it's great because, right, can you imagine having someone, right, with so much experience in the market building an automated system, right? And the benefit is this, right? If there are any tweaks that is needed to be made to the strategy itself, right, you don't have to figure it out, right? The mentor itself, the one who built the strategy, right, is going to continue eyeballing the strategy to make sure it maintains its most efficient result-driven method. Yeah, okay, now, so it's going to continue to evolve. It's going to continue to build and improve, all right, okay, while you're automating how you make money. So that's why I say it's, KA. Okay, I don't want to say it too often. Yeah, okay, it's really great, all right, in terms of what all of you have, to your luxury now, all right? And then number 4, all right, as a bonus, right, how you can see yourself building, right, and doubling your accounts in the next 3 months or less, despite this crazy looking market. All right, I can see so many of you type 0 earlier. All right, you know how dangerous this market looks right now. All right, we are at all-time high, and we still have many wars that are still going on. All right, nothing has been resolved. All right, okay, now, and I spoke to some of my students, and I said this before. Right, have you ever lived in an era where you can imagine that 3 world wars are going on? Did you realize that? We actually have 3 wars that are going on, and none of them have ended yet. Right? We have heard of 1 war, but not 3 at the same time. Right? And there are 3 going on right now, right? And none of them are finished. Right? And markets are still at all-time high. All right? If this is not crazy, I don't know what is. All right? There is just seemingly no uncertainty at all. All right, so you need to know how you're investing. You need to know what you're doing. All right, so if you agree, let's get started. All right, let's get started, because the new frontier to how you make money, how you create profits in the stock market is happening right now. All right, so using this methodology, I would love to help you fire up your trading profit potential for the remaining of 2026 and going forward after that. All right, okay, now, so this picture is probably very apt because we are already 4 months in, right, to this year. All right, so we need to start ramping up the speed. We need to start pressing the accelerator so that you can be happy with the results you see in your accounts by the end of this year itself. Okay, now, so if you are nodding your head, right, as I speak, ladies and gentlemen, you might want to know that the next big opportunity that I'm talking about tonight, right, happens with options, right, and it happens with the evolvement of what the market is calling zero DTE. Right now, so what is zero DTE? It simply means that markets now have 0 days to expiration options. Right? You literally have options that expires within the same day. All right, now, so imagine this. If you're gonna, for example, okay, I'm in Singapore, all right, so if I drive into Johor today, all right, I'm gonna make a day trip. So within a couple of hours, I'm gonna come back out. Right? Do people usually buy travel insurance for such trips? Probably not. Right? But I just feel and happen that, oh, today I'm going to buy one. All right. Okay. Would the company love customers like me? Yes. Why? By selling you such a short base policy. All right. Okay. Is it like free money that's being thrown to them? Very likely or not. Don't you agree? All right. Now, so this is what the stock market has done, right, with the birth of zero DTE options. Right? A lot of things can happen in the stock market if you give it enough time. But when you don't give it time, then what do we get? Nothing. All right. So when you have options that have such short durations, right, the value of these options will dramatically change, right, even if it's just 1 minute later. Can you see where I'm going? All right. So if you can start having markets that are peaceful, right, for long periods of time within a trading day, can you imagine the value of these options, right, and how they will drastically keep getting smaller and smaller in the form of what we say, you'll keep getting cheaper and cheaper the later into the trading day until it becomes zero. All right. Now, so with this knowledge over here, is there an idea of how you can make money, right, and capitalize on what I just said? Right? If you don't, it's okay. I will bring you further. But this is an idea that I want to plant in your head. All right. Okay. Now, so zero DTE options is basically an option that is due to expire within a day. All right. Now, N. Okay. N. Now, can anyone tell me, when you are thinking of buying a stock, okay, when you are thinking of trading anything at all, right, what is one of the biggest concern you have before you click those buttons? All right. Anybody? All right. Would like to give an attempt? All right, because I do get this very regularly, all right, when I discuss about stocks together with my students. All right, what are you most worried with, all right, when it comes to trading stocks? Not options, but just stocks in general. Right price, I think something bigger than that. There's no right or wrong over here. I'm just looking for some participations to see if anybody can get it spot on. All right, so if you think you know something, just type it in the chat box. Timing? Nah, you're getting a little bit too deep. Vivian, right timing is of course the most important thing, but all right, let's scale it down, bigger out. Something simpler. All right, crash? Nah. Now, would all of you agree that the fear of being able to get in, but being unable to get out of the stock, right, is a very key important factor for all of you to decide? Yes, no? All right, if you agree, type yes, please. Yes, right? Now, so what I'm trying to say over here is liquidity, right? Many of you would like to ask the question, Terence, is this stock liquid before I invest? Agree? Now, so that's the big picture view. Many people like to know, right, the kind of volume that it trades so that it's easy to get in and also easy to get out, right? Now, so being a product that is new to the stock market, what kind of volume do you think it really has? Probably something small, probably something very mediocre. Would you agree? But what I'm going to show you next is not just going to shock you, but number two, is going to show you with your eyes wide open why you need to get in on these options that I'm showing you right now. Okay, now, ladies and gentlemen, right, peel your eyes on the screen because I'm going to show you the trading volume for 0DTE options on SPY, right, just very recently, April 21st this year. Right, so it's almost just 1 week ago. Right, and we are looking at options that expires on the day itself. Right, so this is captured past midnight, so it was actually the 20th. Okay, all right, now so 20th of April options, right, which has expired. Right now, and looking at just a set of 5 different options. Okay, 5 different options. Now look at this column over here, the trading volume. All right, now if you look at the trading volume, you have 600,000 options that were traded here, call options. All right, another 270. Right, add on another 660,000. Right, and then another 500,000, another 300,000. All right, and these are 0DT options. So these volume that we are seeing over here is the volume in one trading session, just one day. Okay, now, and when we go to the put options, can you see it has 700,000, 700,000, 400,000, 300,000, 300,000, right? And just a couple of options available for the entire day, right? When I add them up, right, in just the squared areas, that gives me a total amount of 4.8 million options that were exchanging hands in just one trading. Now, how many of you will agree that with these kind of volume on a single stock, right, is really wow? All right, if you agree it's wow kind of volume, right, can you really type that word wow in the chat box? That you have never seen this kind of volume in one trading day itself. Yeah, okay, all right, much less when we talk about options. You agree, right? It's wow. All right, and can I make you go crazy now? All right, the next thing I'm going to tell you is really going to go make you insane. Right, and I say insane because when you trade options, right, one option that you see over here, right, is actually controlling a multiple of 100 shares. So one option that is traded over here, right, controls 100 shares of the SPY stock, and the SPY stock is a $700 stock, ladies and gentlemen. So one option over here that we're talking about controls $70,000 in these shares. And we just saw 4.85 million exchanging hands. Can you see the market value that was traded just on this stock, right, on options that expire in the session itself, 1 day, 0DTE, right? The kind of money that is moving. We're talking about trillions of dollars, right? Trillions of dollars exchanging hands. All right, so would you agree that this is insane amount of money? And with this amount of insane money that is moving around within just one trading session, would you agree that we would be able to find some opportunities to pull out a little bit of all that? All right, if you say yes, go ahead and type yes right now in the chat box, everybody. All right, or dollar sign. All right, if you believe you can pull some money, right, amidst all these volumes I've just shown you. Great, Vivian, thank you very much. All right, and the next plus point is that when you see volumes like that, will you ever need to worry about trying to get in and out of any trades? You don't. This is so liquid, all right? It is so easy to trade, right? That you just need to focus on your entry criteria and how you get out of your trades after that. That's it, all right? And that's where I come in for you. All right, now, so whatever I'm saying over here, some of you may still feel, oh my God, Terence, but you know, this doesn't make me confident enough to want to jump in. All right, now, so my next job as a mentor in this session is to give you that feeling, right, that all this is possible, all right, and all this is actually clear for you to see. All right, while you think that the stock market is building too much risk. Terence, I don't know what's going to happen next. Terence, I don't know what's the next news that's going to come out. Right, Terence, there's so much uncertainty in the market. While you feel all this, all right, okay, I'm telling you, it is even more important for you to start trading 0DTE. Yeah, okay, now if I have to explain it, I will, right? But before I do that, I want to actually give you the feeling of what you would have once you start trading this product that I'm speaking about. Yeah, okay, now I hope all of you can participate together with me now. All right, okay, I would like to ask all of you to close your eyes for 1 second. All right, so everybody close it right now. Okay, in the next second, all right, I would like all of you to take a deep breath together with me. All right, so inhale. Okay, in the next 1 second, I want you to exhale it out slowly. Okay, now all of you can open your eyes. Okay, now, so what I'm going to do next is this. Okay, I'm going to show all of you a picture on the screen. Okay, and once you see the picture, right, I want you to type in the chat box the very first feeling it gave you. That's it. All right, a very simple affair. Okay, when the picture comes out, I want you to just type in the chat box as quickly as you can the first feeling it gives you. Okay, everybody? All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Let's go. That's me. All right, I've done this. Can you imagine? I designed this slide, so I've done it multiple times by now. All right, and yet every time I turn on this slide, the moment my eyes capture it, right, it still gives me this feeling. Yeah, all right. How many of you agree? All right, okay. Now, the first feeling you got when you saw this was ah. All right, okay. If you agree, type 1 in the chat box. All right, if you had this feeling as well. All right, thank you, Jenny. Thank you, SH. Thank you, Kamala. Thank you, Janice. All right, thank you, Susan. Thank you, Rebecca. All right, now, so you see where I'm getting. Now, so why? Because by looking at this picture, would you agree that what you see is not just a pool of, very cool looking water? All right, it might probably make you feel less heated up in this crazy weather we have, number one. Number two, would you agree that looking at this pool of water, the next thing you get is clarity. You can see everything through it. All right, and that's what zero DTE does. That's what I want to tell you right now. All right, when you trade zero DTE, it brings clarity to the table. Number one, all right, now you can officially start to trade just one stock every single day and make your target that you want to make. So if your target is to achieve $200 a day, I'm telling you, you can trade just one stock and make it happen. Would that be good? Right? Because I know that a lot of my students keep asking, Terence, can I just choose one stock and make that money? Right? And my answer is, it's always difficult. Yeah, okay, but now with zero DTE, right, with the kind of volume that I just showed you earlier, right, on that one stock, there is no difficulty anymore. Why? Because I can trade options that expires today and make my $200. Tomorrow, will there be another set of options that expires on the day itself, right? And I can trade it and make $200 again. Yes. And that's what zero DTE is. All right. Now, so can you imagine, right, that you have a new set of options that expires that you can choose to make your $200 on again and again and again and again, over and over on the same stock? Now, why is this simple? It's simple because, right, you might be a newbie right now, but if I give you one task, right, to practice on, and I make you practice on it doing the same steps every single day for one entire month, how many of you will agree that you will be better at this one stock after 1 month? Right? If you agree, type 3. If you disagree, type 4. All right, that I make you do the same thing over and over again for 1 month, right? And you naturally become better at it. You see my point? Yeah, okay, so practice always helps you improve. So practice, people like to say practice makes perfect, but right, I have a flip side to it. All right, okay, one thing I've learned is practice also makes permanent. If you practice it enough, right, and it's always the same thing, right, it becomes a second nature. So that's when you know it becomes permanent. So when I ask you to look at just one stock every single day, will you build up a relationship with that stock? Yes, you will. You will know how it trades. You will know how it behaves. You will know the extremities of the stock, right? And you know its capabilities. So when you are familiar with these things that happens with the stock, will you know how to use your strategy and make money from it? I hope you see where I'm going. All right, so this works. All right, but this then brings another challenge to me as a mentor. You know why? Have I helped you achieve the dreams of many of you, making money on one stock? But as humans, we're never happy. So I start having students asking me, Terence, is there another stock we can trade? Then I'm like, why would you want to split your focus when one is enough? You get my point? Because you're trying to make $200 trading one stock. If you split your focus, do you think you're still going to be very good at what you do? No. You might end up losing money instead because you're not focused anymore. All right, and haven't that happened to many of us in our lives? When we lose focus, right, we lose the success we have built as well. Right, so stay focused to the task. 0 DTE, one stock. Simplify things. Number 2, right, we trade this only after the market has opened for trading. Right now, so why is this so important right now? Okay, I'm going to bring you to the stock market. I'm going to show you what the stock market has done. This was yesterday's session. Can you see from the day before to yesterday's opening, the market actually created a big gap like this? Can you imagine if you were holding stocks here, right, and then you saw this? You're dead. You get my point? Yeah, okay, and it didn't just happen once. Can you see it happened again here? Market closed, market open, right? Okay, and if I'm going to continue shrinking this up, okay, you can see again over here, all right, okay, a massive gap up, all right, okay, now it happens very, very often, right, on the stock called SPY. Why? Is it normal? It's not supposed to be normal, right? Because we are talking about stock that represents the entire S&P. Now, we're not trading a single company. We're actually trading the S&P 500 index in the form of a stock. This is an ETF stock of the S&P index. So it's 500 stocks, all right? But yet, can you see the gaps that are happening that regularly? So has this become a very vital point, right, to bringing about safety, right? If you can only enter your trade after the market is open. Yes. Why? Because once a market is open, you can see what it wants to do for the day, right? And then after that, enter your trade with much more clearer vision. See the point? And you can avoid all these market opening gaps, because price gaps, you need to learn one thing, only happens on market opening. It happens from the close of one session to the opening of the next. That's it. That's how it comes about. All right. As long as you can avoid this gap, right, of one day, all right, you don't have to worry about this problem. Yeah, okay. As long as you can avoid the gap of this one day, you don't have to worry about this dilemma, right? You don't have to worry about this difficulty. You don't have to worry about this problem, right, that I've just spoke about. Yeah, okay, all right. Now, so hopefully that shows you, right, why, right, this is important for you. All right, now, next one over here, right, you can avoid all potential market threats, right, before you place your trades. So assuming market is open today, right, and then there was news that says, oh, Donald Trump is going to appear on TV, right, at about 10 p.m., right, and make a speech. So do you think you want to be placing any orders and making any trades before 10 p.m. tonight? What say you? Yes or no? Type it in the chat box, everybody. All right, so if you know Donald Trump is going to come out on TV, do you want to make a trade before he comes out? No, right? Probably not. It's going to be very risky because we all know the boy who cries wolf. Pretty app, right? Okay, the boy who cries wolf. All right, okay. He says whatever he wants with no repercussions. All right, but it moves markets. Yeah, okay, it moves markets. So if I know he's gonna come on and talk, all right, I will make my trades after, right, he's done talking. All right, and when he's done talking, I've just avoided another risk events. So sometimes making money in the markets is about being able to avoid as many risk events as possible, right, before you get in. Right, so can you see how cautious I am with these rules that I built? Yeah, okay, now next, when I do make a trade, right, the trade doesn't last long at all, because once I open a trade, right, I would also set a profit target to get it out, right, and I will also set my stop losses, right, to protect myself, right, from too big a loss. So every trade once open, right, will come with its set of profit targets and its set of stop loss orders. So if prices get crazy in any way, right, I know exactly, right, what my biggest loss is going to be, right, on the trade I made. All right, so this is another key ingredient over here, right? Knowing exactly what your risk is on any given day when you make a trade. All right, so there are no more overnight positions that you have to worry about. Yeah, okay, now, so these are some clarity that it brings to the table. So once I've done this, here comes the next question. How do we trade X factor? Terence, you said this X factor strategy, you say it makes 75% winning trades, right? Or you also say you could improve it to 80% and higher. All right, how do we do this? Now, in order for you to be able to do this, right, I need to take a moment to share with all of you some simplicities, right, about options trading, right? So if you don't know what options is, okay, I'm going to take 2 minutes right now to bring you up to speed, okay? I'm going to bring you up to speed, all right? Now, number one, okay, options, okay, you write it down on one side, okay? Second, you put an equal sign in the middle, right? And third, you put insurance on the other side. So I'm going to read it now. Options equals to insurance. Okay, I'll say it one more time. Options equals to insurance. Now, for you to understand how this all actually works, you need to be able to see that these two things are exactly the same. Now, listen to me carefully. I don't mean they're the same thing, but I mean that they're built to function in exactly the same way. So if you can understand how insurance work, you will be able to understand options. See my point? All right. And second, right, if you know who keeps making money, right, in this insurance game, right, you can use that strategy and start making money for yourself, right, when you put it on options. See the relevance now? All right. Now, so let's start. All right. Let's start with insurance. Now, I say if we start with insurance because everyone understands what it is, right? Okay. Insurance is something that we see, right? And in fact, all right, people buy it every single day. Right? People buy people buy insurance for things like their car, right? People buy insurance for things like their house. And more importantly, people buy insurance for themselves, right? Or yourself. Why? Because when we lead our lives every single day, there is this one thing that we are always uncertain about, right? We don't know when it will happen. We don't know how it will happen, right? And we don't know how big the damages are. So what I'm talking about over here is called accidents, right? And when an accident happens to any of these three items, right, they immediately become what I call expensive fixes. I call them expensive fixes because, right, to put these things back into the original condition is actually going to involve a sum of money. And sometimes the sum of money can be a very big amount, right? And with the knowledge of this, it starts making people afraid. So this thing puts fear inside all of us. And when we start showing this fear, right, who starts coming in and make a lot of money? Insurance companies, right? Why? Because they start coming in to sell us all these policies and they make tons of money doing this. Would you agree? All right. Now, so if I have to summarize what I just did, what do you think insurance is? If I simplify it and simply say that insurance is merely a form of protection, would you agree with what I said? All right, so if you nodded your head, then we move on. All right, now, so if insurance is a form of protection, then my next question becomes, what do you think options are? Aha, I think some of you got the link. Right, so if insurance is a form of protection, that means that options is also a protection too. Right, but options is a little bit more specific. Right, it is only available inside the stock market. So whatever protection it gives you, right, okay, it will only give it to you inside the stock market itself. So now let's jump in together, right? Let's understand what this does. Okay, when we go into the stock market, right, what can people do? Or what can people invest in? What can people buy, right, that could cause them to end up losing a lot of money on it? Right? Does anybody have the answer? If you do, can I get you to type in the chat box? Right? What can people own? What can people buy that would cause them to lose a lot of money, right, inside the stock market? All right, what do you think this answer is? No, not greed. All right, what? Okay, not the event. What? Nah, come on now. See, you guys are trying to complicate things. All right. If you want to build success, starts from the very root. Yeah. Okay. Now, what can people buy in the stock market, right, that could cause them to lose money? Yes, Kamala. That's the root. All right. Okay. So everybody look at Kamala's answer. Stocks. Yeah. Okay. Stocks. Why? Because what do people do in the stock market? They try to make money. You see the point? They try to make money. How do you make money? By trading stocks. So tell me, has this thing ever happened to you before? You did all the homework possible. You read all the research out there. You read all the information about a company before you click the buy button. And yet, after you bought the stock, when the stock appears in your trading account, the very first emotion that you felt was fear, right? If you experienced this before, can I get you to type 1 in the chat box? Right? You did everything possible, and once you buy the stock, the first emotion that hit you was still fear. You were not excited that you're going to make money soon, but you were afraid instead. Right? If you had this feeling, type 1 in the chat box. Right? It happened to you before. Vivian, do you find it weird? Because you did everything possible. Right? And yet, after buying the stock, you still feel like you're not in control. Frustrating, isn't it? Right? Why? Because you were not the house. Simple as that. All right. Okay. Now, so you are worried. All right. And once you start showing this fear, you know what happens next? People like me appear in front of you. Right. And I'm going to be holding up a piece of paper which reads options. And I'm going to start talking to you. Hey, you look afraid. All right. Are you afraid of losing money? And you nod your head. Okay. If you're afraid of losing money, then you have to buy this thing from me today. If you buy this option, it's going to protect you and your stocks. Here's how it works. Tomorrow, when the stock market opens, if your stock drops by 10, by 20, by 30%, all right, all you have to do is to go to the stock market and use this option to make a claim. When you make that claim, right, the stock market will pay for all your losses. So what does it do? The moment you buy this option, you are absolved from all the responsibilities, right, of losing money on the stock. So tell me honestly, how many of you actually own stocks in the stock market today? And you will be happy to pay a small amount of money to buy a protection that works like this on your stocks, right? If you would, type the dollar sign in your chat box, everybody. Right, type the dollar sign if you're willing to spend money to protect your stocks. Right, so if you can buy an option and protect yourself from losing money, right, how many of you would do it? Good. Right, you know why I'm asking this question? I'm just trying to show you, right, in the world of products, all right, many of you fear, right, will it always be around? Then ask yourself this question: will there always be a demand for it? Because one thing I've learned is, as long as there's a demand for it, the product will always exist. So if you look at how options are built and how options are made to function, do you think that as long as there are people playing the stock market, there will always be people who want a protection that works like that? Yes. So all I'm saying is this: when you trade options, you don't have to worry about it at all. All right, I'm going to give you some other factors. One, all right, okay, when you trade options, you trade it from the stock market. So the same stock market as where you're trading stocks right now. Number two, all the rules that govern stock trading will also apply in options trading. Number three, all right, you trade options from the same brokerage account as where you are buying and selling your shares now. That's number three. Yeah, okay, now, so can you see how there is no difference if you choose to trade stocks or if you choose to start trading options? It's essentially the same thing, the stock market. All right, okay, now, so if I excite you further, right, the next dilemma you have is, Terence, I've never done this before. Is it very difficult? And the answer is no. In fact, my answer to students is, right, trading stocks and trading options is exactly the same. All right, let me show you. All right, now when you start trading options, this is the brokerage platform, right, and the screen that you're going to end up seeing. Do you see something familiar? Right, many of you should find the top half of the picture something you will know. Right, it is about stocks. So you will get a stock symbol, right? And then you will get the price of the stock, right? And then you will get the bid and the ask prices of the stock. All right. So once you made a decision, all right, I want to buy the stock. Okay, what information do you need? Right? You need what we call, right, the key ingredient, the bid and the ask prices. Right? Because these are where transactions happen. Can you see that? All right. If you want to buy, you buy it here. If you want to sell, you sell it here. Right? These are the prices that the market is giving you to facilitate transactions, the bid and the ask. All right, so that's stocks. Right now, when you trade options, I want you to look at the bottom half of the screen. Okay, look at the bottom half of the screen. All right now, and when you look down below, you would see that the screen splits into two. Right, on one side, okay, my left side, okay, you would see this thing called the call options. Okay, I'll say it one more time. The call options. Okay, and now on my right, okay, you would have the other type called the put options. Okay, the put options. Okay, and that's it. That's all you're given. Right? So the call options or the put options. Now, what you do is you choose. Yeah, you choose. All right. So like stocks, you choose the stock you want to trade. Now with options, you go and you choose what options you want to trade. So for example, from this entire list, I decided that I'm going to trade the 698 call options. Now, once you have chosen, can you see two very important things here? All right, these options have their own bid and ask prices. So can you transact? Yes, you can. All right, now, so for example, if you want to trade your 698 calls, you have the bid price, you have the ask price, use those prices, go place your order, and make your trade happen. Voila, that's it. The stock market has given you everything you need. So go start your trading. See? All right, options trading and stocks is the same. All right, so now that you got to this point, all right, how many of you would like to finally figure out and learn, all right, the options trading strategy that's going to allow you to make money with zero DT options? All right, because I'm going to teach them to you. I'm going to teach you two simple strategies today. All right, now how many of you are ready to learn your first strategy? All right, if you are, all right, type 1 in the chat box, everybody. All right, 1 if you're ready to learn your first strategy. Good. Okay, thank you, Zhen Yang. All right, thank you, Melvin. All right, thank you, Kamala. All right, let's go. Now, so if you are serious about making money in this market that we have today, all right, okay, the first option strategy that you need to learn, all right, is you need to learn how to sell put options. Okay, all right, you need to learn how to sell put options. Now, why sell? All right, okay, there's a key ingredient and key reason behind this. Ladies and gentlemen, if we bring you back here, all right, okay, now, and we talk about insurance, who always makes money in the game of insurance, right? Is it the customers, one, right, who makes money all the time? Or is it the insurance companies, two, who ends up making money most of the time? Right? What is your answer? Right, I'll give you 5 seconds right now. I want you to type it in the chat box. Yeah, okay, 1 or 2. All right, let's go. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There, all right, okay, stop there. All right, now, and yet, okay, for all those who manage to answer within that window of time, do you realize what your answer is? Insurance companies. Why? Did I give you time to think? No. Were you able to react? Yes. And how did you react it? Insurance companies. Why? It's like an instinct, right? And when I ask questions that makes your brain answer like that, right? You know it's right. That's why I do it this way. All right. Okay. You know it's right because it's like an instinct, it's a reflex. All right. And your body and your mind will only be able to give you such an answer when it knows and when it has seen it happen numerous times. Yeah, otherwise you're going to be sitting there, which one? You get my point? All right, so when you have a trading strategy, which allows you to execute trades with these kind of certainty, do you already have the confidence that it's going to bring money to you as well? Yeah, I hope you see the point. Now, so insurance companies make money all the time. And how do they do it? They sell policies. So what I'm saying to you is, right, that with your capital, with your money that you have right now, all right, come next week, all right, when you make the right choices today, I can take you together with me into the stock market and actually show you how to sell your first options, right? And your first option, right, is actually here, like what I just said, learning how to sell your put options. Okay, and yet, okay, when I say sell put options, some of you may actually start saying behind the scenes, oh, Terence, my friend tried this and they lost a lot of money. I agree. Some of you may even say, Terence, my friend tried this and he busted his account more than one time. I agree. So why do I say I agree? Because if you look at the screen right now, I have failed. If I tell you I succeeded on my first attempt, you guys better run. All of you, just run, all right? Because I cannot be trusted, all right? Okay, but I'm telling you honestly right now, I busted more than 10 of my accounts and I just kept fighting back. I refused to give up. And that's why I'm here in front of you today. But can you imagine how much grit it requires, how much pain I suffered, how much blood I bled, right, to be still standing here in front of you? All right, okay, now, so I busted, I made all the mistakes possible, right, and I learned from them, and I built today what I have, something that succeeds. Do you want to go through this process entirely on your own? Be my guest. It took me 10 years. Right? I don't know how long it's going to take you. I don't know how much money it's going to require before you figure it out. Right? But you might be able to do it. Right? Or you could invest and pick up a ready-made formula, right? And then start using it, trade it beside me in live sessions, and make it happen. Which is the better choice? I let you decide. Okay, so what is my secret formula? What is my success recipe? After failing over and over and over and over again, all right, okay, I then realized I was fighting the wrong battle. What do I mean when I'm fighting the wrong battle? I'm going into the fight with Goliath, right, with the great white shark, right, and I'm trying to go into the fight alone. And that was the problem, right? Because whenever you go into a fight, right, as the underdog, and if you try to do it alone, you're always most likely going to end up losing. And when you lose, you're going to be a bag of blood. All right. Now, and then when I start making a tweak, I started realizing that I was getting success and it wasn't difficult. All right. So the key is when you go into a fight, always bring along a partner. So when I started selling options, I started doing it with a partner as well. So when I sell options, I sell them as a pair. I no longer do it alone. So let me explain to you why. Can you see that in this pair, right? It is a pair of two different actions. So I'm selling a put option, which is a floor on the stock, right? And then after that, I'm also buying another put option, right? That is a floor lower than my first one. Okay, now, so a stock can do four things. Number one, a stock can go up, okay, which is good for this red line, right? A stock can do nothing, which also means that if we traded stocks, we are wrong. But if we sell options, we can be wrong and there are no claims to be made and we'll still end up making money. So we made money out of two scenarios, right? Number three, the stock can still continue to fall. Like for example, yesterday, all right, okay, now, so yesterday the stock opened, right, at about 7:11, right? So if I sold, right, a floor at 7:05, right, the low the stock went was only 7:09. So did it break the floor? No. So were we wrong? Yes, we didn't want it to go down. We were very wrong. But did any accidents happen? No. So were there any claims that were made? No. So who ended up making money on these options? Still us. Can you see? I said four things can happen. And 3 occasions out of 4, we ended up making money. So when you take 3 divided by 4, what is the percentage you got? 75%. Can you see the test results earlier? All right, does it match up? All right, why? Because this is what the strategy gives you. Yeah, see the point? This is what the strategy gives you. But number 4 is where the absolute danger is. all right? Just like running an insurance business, all right? Is there going to be claims? Yes. Will there always be claims that will be made? Yes. How do they still make money? Right? They protect themselves. All right? They protect themselves as a business. So you have to protect yourself too. How? With this blue line. All right? So after selling this put option, you're going to turn around, right? And then you're going to buy another put option that has $700, for example. All right? So now your difference from the red line to the blue line is how much? Can anyone type in the chat box? What is the price difference of the red line and the blue line for the option? Correct, Kamala. Don't doubt yourself. You're correct. So 705, 700. So that's a price difference of $5, everybody. All right, now $5. Now, so say, right, if the stock starts plunging, all right, and the stock eventually plunges all the way, all right, to 690. Is that possible? Unlikely, but it is possible. So we must always be prepared. That's the key, right? We must always be prepared for anything that can happen, right? Now, so once the stock market opens, right, and the prices start falling, right? So the first thing it's going to do is to break the red line. Now, so look at this. I'm going to explain to you, right? When it breaks the red line, we're going to start seeing losses on our put options. Get it? All right. We're going to start seeing losses, okay, on the put options. All right. When it continues falling down, all right, and continues breaking the blue line, all right, will this red line still continue to lose money? And the answer is yes. All right. So the red line will still continue to accumulate losses. But at the same time, when it crosses the blue line, all right, can all of you see that this blue line is a buy option? All right, now you also have a buy option in the picture. So it's the flip side, which means that for this buy option, I would also be building, all right, profits on the blue trade. Now, so can you see now when I do this as a pair, right? Is my losses for the trade unlimited, or have I kept the kind of loss I would take on this trade? So just type the word limited or type the word capped. So Kamala, well done. All right. So can you see that my losses are now capped, right, to the range of my options that I traded, which is $5? Agree, everybody? If you agree, type A in the chat box. Right, that the maximum I can lose on this trade is now capped at $5. Good. Now, so do all of you also remember what I did earlier? Every one option controls 100 shares. So a $5 loss would mean, right, that we are looking at a $500 amount. Okay, $500 amount. Terrence, are you crazy? What do you mean I'm crazy? Right, Terrence, you say we can start with $1,000 and I can lose $500 on a trade. Are you nuts? No, I'm not nuts. All right, but I have a reason for doing this. Okay, so listen to me first, okay? All right, the losses we really make is way smaller than that. So why am I still making this step? And the reason is, right, if all of you can see that with this strategy, it brings about a maximum loss of $500. So if you know that, please answer my next question. Will the broker also know this? Can you answer yes or no? If you know this, will the broker also know it? Yes, right? Now, so when you go to the brokerage platform and when you create such an order, the broker knows that your trade comes with a maximum loss. So what they are going to do is that they are going to ask you for only the loss you can make. That's the purpose of this strategy, all right? To bring down the investment required. You are trading a $700 stock. Remember I said that earlier? If you traded one option, that's equivalent of $70,000. Who's going to have that kind of money? when I first started, I don't. Do you have it? Probably not. So if I bring this investment to only what you lose, which is $500 for every one option, now, can I bring all of you in? Yes. Have I lowered my risk as well? Yes. Right? And after I have made the trade, I can then control my total loss with stop loss orders. Right? Why? Because the market is open. And if the stock keeps falling after the market is open, right, will it definitely have to go past my stop loss price? Yes. That means because the market is open, it cannot go from here, right? And in the next 1 minute, it suddenly becomes here. No, it has to trade through a price. So my stop loss will always get triggered for the amount that I placed it for. No overnight gaps. Remember, I said it very clearly. This is a big risk. But when I trade within the day, it doesn't happen. All right, so let me summarize this trading strategy for you. All right, now, so we make money when the stock goes up. Right, number two, right, when the stock doesn't move, we are wrong, but we still end up making money. Right, now, number three, right, when the stock drops only by a little, right, we still make money. All right, that's the best part. Right, and what if the stock crashes? Right, we have our stops that protects our trade, right, and brings about a minimum loss of $20. But the worst of the lot is $60 losses. So if I tell you, go make a trade, right, and the biggest loss you would take on that one option is a $60 amount, how many of you will be brave enough seeing this to actually be willing to click that button? All right, type C for click that button, right? Knowing that your biggest loss is only $60. All right, go ahead, click, type 60, all right, if I give you the confidence. That's it. Okay, thank you very much. All right, keep coming. All right, okay, if you can see it. All right, now, ladies and gentlemen, all right, this is what it's all about. All right, being a mentor is not just bringing a successful strategy to all of you. All right, but being a mentor is to show you that I can protect your risk as well. All right, okay, now, and some of you will be wondering, Terence, is this for real? Can it be done this way? Let me show you. There is an order format. All right, and the order format allows you to actually set in your take profit target, right, and your stop loss order, right? So for example, I traded this option, right, for 70 cents. Okay, so I traded this option for 70 cents. I sold it. Okay, I sold it. So if I sold it at 70 cents, when prices get cheaper, all right, I would close it for a profit. Right, so you can see here, I'm trying to close my trade for a profit when it gets to 40 cents. Okay, but at the same time, right, if I'm short, right, okay, and the prices go higher, right, I want to cut my losses before it becomes too expensive. Right, so I've decided I'm going to cut my losses when it gets to 130. All right, now, so if I sold my options for 70 cents and I close it at 130, right, how much do I lose if that happens? $60. Yes, everybody? Yeah? Okay. 130 minus 70 is 60 cents. So times 100 shares, that's $60. And that's my worst case scenario. You see that? Yeah, okay. Now, and when prices actually first goes in my favor, right? That means the option prices first drop, right? My stop loss amounts can actually start going lower together with it. So that's why we also have a minimum loss instead. See how risk adverse I am, right? The trade starts with the maximum loss of 60. When it starts going in my favor, I will start dragging the amount of losses on the trade down, all right, get up to 20. Sounds good. You don't need to understand the all dynamics over here because there will be a bootcamp where I take you through all these fundamentals. But now I want you to see the big picture of how it all evolves and work together. All right, because ladies and gentlemen, right, when you complete 100 trades, right, you're gonna have 80 winners, right? 80 winners, right, and probably experience 20 losing trades, which you won't like it. Okay, but right, if you win a profit of $30 each time, right? You can see this, right? 70 to 40, $30 each time. right, you're going to make a profit of $2,400, all right, on any winners. Okay, and if you suffer a loss, let's take the middle, okay? All right, let's take the middle of $40 each time. You will also accumulate a loss, right, of $800. So what is your net result after completing 100 trades? Your net result is still a plus $1,600. Am I correct? All right, now why is this important? What is the investment required to make one option trade? $500 in capital. Do you see the profits? You are making $1,600 on an investment capital of $500 for each day. All right, now, do you realize you are like tripling your account, right, and your capital, right? 300% returns after 100 trades, right, from what you're doing. How many of you want in, right? If this strategy brings about these kind of capabilities, right? Type in, all right? If you want a step in, right, okay, to trading alongside with me, all right, and figuring this out. Thank you, Sairu. All right, now, and the next thing I'm going to add is if you trade every single day, right, and the market gives you the opportunity, that's 20 trades in a month, Monday to Friday, 4 weeks, 20 trades a month. How long does it take for you to complete 100 trades? Let's extend it. Let's say some days you don't get, let's say 6 months. If you can more than double your money every 6 months, you want to miss out on this golden opportunity? It's your choice. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your choice. I can only bring the information to you. You have to take the next step so that I can then come in, right, and officially become your mentor. Okay, but this is your choice. Now, so hopefully all of you can see, right, that this, right, can all be made with the correct kind of order structure. Once you made a trade, it can be done. All right, now, so let's flip over. All right, okay, now, so this strategy works, okay, when stocks are going nowhere, okay, or when stocks are going up. Yeah, okay, so you sell floors, you sell put options when stocks is going nowhere and when it's going up. So what if you have days when the stock market is going down? You get my point? What if you have a stock market that's going down? Then you sell the other option. Because if we have floors, that means that we also have roofs. Yeah, okay, now, so for example, the stock market yesterday opened at 711, right? Could I have then sold, right, a 716 roof? Yes, I could, right? And I could pair it up with a 721 roof, right? And that keeps the loss $5 apart as well. Yeah, so if I keep it $5 apart on the downside, I will keep the same $5 apart on the upside. Now, so for this trade, when the stock goes down, we win. Okay, when the stock doesn't move, we win. Yeah, okay, if the stock only goes up by a little, right? It closed at 712 yesterday. All right, we are at 716. Did it break the roof? No. So we still win. So can you see, right, that as an option seller, your winning percentage is always at 75. Then you come in with your own personal criteria, personal rules to increase that probability, increase those odds. And that's where my experience will help you build, right, a much better winning recipe. Right now, and in case if it still breaks above, right, okay, this protection kicks in. All right, now, so it doesn't matter. The trade only requires $500 because there's a maximum loss, right? And when we use our order formats, right, the same exists. The loss on all our trades is kept at a maximum of 60, right? And once it starts working in our favor, we'll actually start reducing those losses as well, right, down to a minimum of 20. Yeah, okay, all right, so that's the worst damage we face. Now, so now that you understand how both sides of the picture works, okay, I'm going to show you, right, how to make money. Okay, now, so we're going to combine everything you've seen so far today. All right, I'm going to show you how we're going to ramp things up. Okay, how we can get the winner. All right, now, so to know this, what do markets do on most days? Yeah, okay, what do markets do on most days? Yeah, okay, now, so if you say markets go up, right, you mean that markets go up by an amount bigger than 1% all right, within the day, not 6 months, within that one trading session. All right, if you say it goes down, then you say market has fallen by more than 1%, right, during that one day. Terence, what if it doesn't do either? That means that markets went nowhere. All right, now, so when I ask this question, what do markets do on most daily basis? What would your answer be? Do markets always go up by more than 1% every day and very often? No, right? Do markets crash by more than 1%, right, and very often? No, right? So what do markets do then? Markets basically sit around, right? It moves up a little, down a little, up a little, down a little, but it doesn't do anything on most days. Agree? Now, so when you have a stock market that doesn't go anywhere, here comes my next question. Which strategy works best? You have learned how to sell two different type of options, the floors and the roofs. So when you know that the stock market doesn't go anywhere on majority of the days, which one will you sell? Can you type in the chat box? Which one will you choose to sell, everybody? You can just type the floor or the roof, okay? Just type the floor or the roof. So which one will you choose to sell, right? If you know that the stock market is not going anywhere. Okay, so Celine says, I'm going to sell the floor. All right, will it work? Yes. All right, anyone else? Anyone else with a different answer? Don't worry, okay? All right, in this session, there's no right or wrong because when you jump into step 2, right, when we get into the boot camp together, all right, I'm going to go through all the basics so that you're aware of what we're doing after that. Okay, good. Some of you are on the other side is saying roofs as well. Right now, so in actual terms, if you know that the stock is not going anywhere, will selling both sides, right? Okay, or either side, sorry, work? Yes, because if it doesn't go anywhere, it won't touch your floor. So this will win, right? If it doesn't go anywhere, if you sell a roof, it doesn't touch it as well. So you will win. So it doesn't make a difference. But, okay, if you sell the floor, you're going to need a $500 capital, right? Now, and if you choose to sell the roof, the capital you need is also $500. So here comes my question. If you know that the stock is not going anywhere, right, can you actually sell both sides? Can you type yes or no in the chat box? Can you actually choose to sell both sides and double your profitability? Yes, right? And it makes a lot of sense, isn't it? Because if I sell one item, I make money from one item. If I sell both, I make money from both items, right? And both makes money from this occurrence. So now the key is, right, if I sell both, how much capital will the broker want from me? Does anybody have the answer? All right, so if I sell one, it's 500. All right, okay, if I sell both, how much capital will the broker want for me to make this trade? All right, type in the chat box. All right, whatever you think it is. Doesn't matter if it's correct or wrong. Just type. All right, so Melvin says $1,000. All right, now, so $500 when you sell this, $500 when you sell the roof. Anyone else? All right, how many others think it's $1,000 as well? Type 1K as well in the chat box if you think it's 1,000. Oh, Cyrus says 500. Interesting. Anyone else? Okay, good. So majority of you are saying $1,000. And my answer, no. The broker is going to ask only for 500. Huh? There is why. I don't understand. Why 500? Because you are trading one session. And You're trading the same stock. So where can the stock be? The stock can only be up here or down here at one time. See my point? So you will only actually end up losing on one side. You'll never end up losing both sides. So the broker knows this. So even when you sell both, the broker still only asks you for $500. Is that good? Good, yeah? All right, now, so if I know that the stock market is not going anywhere, all right, I'm going to choose to maximize my profitability. I'm going to sell both. I'm going to collect two sets of money. All right, why? Because when the prices start dropping, all right, I can take my profits very, very quickly after that. Right? In fact, let me show you the trades that you can get from this market and how ridiculous the trades can actually look like. Right? So this was a trade that I made $200 on within just 1 hour. Right? Okay, I'm going to also show you that with these trades, right, the markets keep doing the same thing over and over again. Right? Now, so the first trade example, right, happened on the 7th of March, 2025. Right? So that was about a year ago where there was the threat of tariffs, right, that Donald Trump was promoting, right? So market was kind of like very threatened. So when market opened at 10:30, right, so 4 minutes after that, right, I did this trade. So market was trading at about 572, all right, okay, this SPY stock, right, 572, right, and the market gave me a 581 roof. All right, 581 roof. So my roof is $9 higher, right, than where the stock is. Okay, and I sold a 562 floor. So my floor is $10 below where the stock is. Now, why is this amount so important? Okay, because the SPY, all right, the distance over here is times 10, right, when you put it into the index itself. So a $9 buffer, right, is equivalent to a plus 90 point up move, right, when you talk about the S&P. So it's a 90 point move to the upside within 1 hour, not the whole day. It's it's 90 points move, right, in 1 hour. Very ridiculous, quite, right? So does my trade look safe? Yeah, my roof looks pretty safe, right? And then on the downside, right, I have a minus 100 point protection. Is that pretty ridiculous as well? Yeah. Terrence, are people still going to offer money for these kind of options? Yeah, they do. And when they do, you just need to grab it. You know why? When you grab it here, and then like less than 1 hour later, like 45 minutes later, can you see that the stock didn't move? So when the market opens, there's a lot of anticipation that something will happen. And then 45 minutes later, nothing happened. The stock is still at the same price. So people are not excited anymore. All right. So when people are not excited anymore, you get the drastic drop in these option values. And we get out of that trade. Simply put, that's it. All right. So let me show you the actual trade that was being done on this day and this opportunity. Okay. All right. Now, so at 10:34, right, we sold the 562 floor, right, and we paired it up with a $5 put option. Right, I sold the 581 roof, right, and I paired it up with a $5 difference. Okay, and I did 8 sets, right, of this trade. Okay, now so each set requires $500 in capital. So 8 options would be a $4,000 account. Now, so I collected 89 cents for the trade that I got done. Okay, so that's a total collection of $712. Yeah, okay, now so at 11:16, my profit target order was captured. All right, so when my profit target order was captured, it filled my order and it closed my trade. All right, it closed this trade, but I had to pay $67. So that means I had to pay $536 in total. So what am I left with? I'm left with the difference of these amounts. So that's $176. So I made $176 on a $4,000 capital. So this trade brought 4.4% return in a span of 45 minutes. So if I can show you how to take a trade, right, and make 4% returns, right, within 1 hour, over and over again, right, on a daily basis. How many of you will be excited to make this kind of money? Right? If you would, can you type E right now in the chat box? Right, that it would excite you to be able to do something like that. Right, 4% returns day after day after day. Cyril, thank you very much. Right, Salid, all right, anyone else? All right, continue commenting, okay? All right, now why? One thing, ladies and gentlemen, all right, you are here for a reason, right? And you're here to figure out how you can make more money, grow your capital, right? And I'm showing you the ropes in which it can be done, right? And that's just for today, right? Because when you think this is going to work, all right, and you take the next step, when we come together, I'm actually going to take you through live trading sessions for a period of 8 weeks. We're going to do this together, right? Not 1 month, but 2 months. We're going to do it over and over and over again so that you get the phase of what we call practice makes permanent. And then will you be able to keep doing this after that for as long as you want? Yes. So this money is as good as yours, right? Once you say yes, okay, to making this happen. But you have to want it. I can only provide the solution, but you have to accept it. Yeah, okay, so that's why I keep asking for your participation. Right? So you can choose to keeping quiet in the background, but it's not going to help you. Yeah, okay, I'm doing as best as I can over here, right? And I want you to come forward as well. Yeah, okay, now, so the next key is, some of you are now saying, but there is this 1 year ago. How is it relevant today? All right, the relevance is that these kind of ridiculous trades are still happening now. All right, because that trade was 1 year ago, but this trade I'm showing you now happened 1 month ago. Right, 9th of March, 2026. All right, the market opened here at 9:30, right, and then it started dipping, right, to about 663. All right, and we opened our trade right here. So what was the roof I got? I got a 674 roof. All right, and then I got a 657 floor. All right, now, so being at this value, about 664, it means that I still had a $10 buffer on the roof. That's 100 points on the S&P. Right? I also got, right, a $7 buffer on the floor. That's another $70 drop, a 70 points drop on the S&P. And did you also realize that the market fell from 672 down to 664 when it opened? So the market already opened -8, and I'm another -7 below that. That's a total of -15, everybody. Right? The ridiculous trade still comes. Right? And in fact, it came 2 times on this day. Right? We took 2 trades. Number 1, right? The first trade over here, right, was done at 9:45. Right? We sold it for 71 cents. Right? And then it hit the profit target of 48 cents, right? About 15, 20 minutes later. Or it took 20 minutes. Right? Why? Simple. Because of this gap, people expected prices to run. Did it run? It didn't. In 20 minutes, it was exactly the same spot. Right? So all the excitement was gone. So the high option prices drastically dropped, right? And we got our profits right here. Right? You can see it's the same options, the same trades, just 20 minutes apart. Right? And prices didn't move. So how quickly these option values drop and how we can capitalize on it when you know what to do, right? And then a second opportunity came, right, at 10:15, right, and we took a second trade. I sold it for 61, right, and then we closed it for 42 after that, right? Again, this one took longer, about 1 hour, right? Now, so my total profit for the day, I sold it 71, all right, I sold it 48, right, I closed it for 61. Sorry. I sold it for 71. I closed it for 48. I sold it for 61. I closed it for 42. That was a net profitability of 42 cents at the end of the day. So times 8 options, which is my trading size, that gave me a $336 profit, right, on the same $4,000 account. So this brought an 8% return, right, during the day. Now, so this is what we can trade on days when the market goes absolutely crazy. Right, so there's so much risk. Market anticipates a lot of movement. These are the kind of trades we got. But now we are in a different phase. Now we're in a market that is all driven by what we call headline news. right, or tweets. Anyone agree with me? If you agree, type A please in the chat box. Right? It's all about tweets and headline news right now. So these events can drive prices going crazy within a sudden window or period. Yes. So how do we tackle this, Terrence? Because these mean that prices are gonna move, right? And this strategy is not gonna make money. I agree. So we adapt. Right? Okay, so when markets go into the periods that we see, right, headline driven, right, this is where, right, our levels that we draw before a market opens comes in. Right now, so very much like the chart I showed you earlier, right, all of you saw that I had a pink dotted line on the screen. And can you see how important this level was? Right, it kept prices. So whenever prices came, can I sell a roof and make money after it drops? Yes. Can I sell a roof and when it drops, I make money again? Yes. So do we know where all these levels are on a daily basis? Yes. And today's level is 716 and 6706. So if prices ever get there, right, do I know what trades I'm supposed to make? Yeah. All right, now, so knowing these levels, which I will teach you how to calculate and how to draw them, right, during our bootcamp together, all right, is going to assist you to identify these trades like we had on the 15th of April. Right, so on the 15th of April, right, prices started climbing, right, when market opened, right, and then it got here, right, close enough to the roof. So we're going to expect a price to fall. So if we expect price to fall, what are we going to do next? We're going to sell roofs. There was one trade. So we made money, right? And then when prices came to the roof again, right, we can do the same thing, right? And then we made money a second time, right? Now, so is this for real? Yes, they are for real, right? Why? Because I have the trades to show for, right? Now, so this date over here was 15th of April. Here, there we go. All right, now, so the first trade happened slightly past midnight, right? So we executed the trade at about 20 minutes past midnight, right? And it only took 20 minutes, right, to lock in the profit. So we sold the roof, 698, 700 roof, right? 49.25. So we made about $24 on this first trade, right? And then the second trade, exactly the same options. Can you see that? Right? Exactly the same options. About 1 hour later, right? 1:36. 24 minutes later, we are out at a profit target. Right? So this one made $19. So 24 plus 19, that's a total of $43 in profit. Times 8 options, $344. Right? Again, another 8%. So have I shown you that using the two strategy format, right, how you can trade when markets are in crazy periods and how you can still trade when markets behave the way they do right now? Because it wasn't just once, right? It happened again on the 9th of April, right? So you can see, touch the roof, sell. Touch the roof, sell your roofs. All right, okay, now this day brought about another 2 winners, right, which we did here, right? Again, past midnight, so it was 10th. Yeah, okay, so 0016, we opened a trade for 40 cents, right? We sold the roofs, right? And then we closed it for 20 cents after that, right? In 20 minutes, right? Then the next one happened at 1 in the morning, right? And then the bot closed it 1 hour later. Can you imagine? You don't need to do all these. The orders are all executed automatically by the robot itself. Does automation help? Yes, it does. Do you need to stay up and watch the market? No, you don't. Right? So while we go through all the live trading session phases, right, what we're doing is to help you identify the setups, right, and know why these trades are being made. Understand the logic behind it. Understand your business, how to run the business, and then let the robot take over after that. Nice plan. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, so whatever that I just showed you, right, the two different kind of trade setups, right, keeps happening over and over and over again. Right, look, this is March this year, right, 25th of March, 26th of March, 26th of March, 27th of March, 27th of March, right, all these were profitable trades that keeps occurring, right, in under 2 hours, right, of the market opening. Right now, so not only are we doing this, but we're helping students achieve results that they never thought was possible. right? So here's Saifik over here who traded with us in March, and this is what he has to say. So TT as a mentor, he's patient with all his students. He's never left any students hanging when they face challenges on their first trade. So he always goes all out to help. So even in live sessions, right, and when they are over, he would still give them advices, right, on how the market looks and what trades they're looking for. Right now, so since the start of Iran war, so you know this is definitely in March. Yeah, okay, so since the start of Iran war, right, he has actually made 11 winners out of 14 trades. You decide for yourself, ladies and gentlemen. Right, you want to have 11 winners out of 14 trades you've taken? This is it. X Factor is going to help you. It's going to create the X Factor trader inside you that's waiting to be unleashed. Right, so make your decisions. Otherwise, you're going to be left regretting. Yeah, okay, now, so all thanks to TT and his team over here, right, we can now navigate the ever-changing, challenging market. Right, so it's not just Saifik, right? We have many students who will trade with us, right, and right, even with the book itself. So when there are trades, right, they will be there profiting at the same time. So when we make trades, it's not one person who profits from it, but it's everyone. Because I've shown you, I've taught you how to identify those trades. And in fact, I even send out those trades to you. What options, what price do you do them for? When do you get out of those trades? These informations are all handed out to you. All right, so it happened here, all right, and it keeps happening again and again after that. Now, so I've shown you the good side. So many of you want to know, Terence, how about when trades do not work? Because I also want to show you that, right, what occurs on difficult days. Yeah, okay, now, so quick question over here. Olivia is asking, right, it has to close. Think of it this way, right, Olivia? When you short sell a stock, when do you make money? When prices drop, right? I'm selling those options. I didn't buy them. I sold them to start the trade. So when prices drop, I close by buying them back. So if I sold them for 70 cents and I buy them back later for 40 cents, did I make money? Yes. All right. So that's how we make money as an option seller. Yeah. Okay. We make when prices drop. Yeah. Okay. Now, so moving forward over here, how does X Factor also protect you on days when the market goes crazy, when you are in a trade, right? So let me show you how the board does this, right? Now, so here we have a trading day, right? And the market opened, right? And it looks like it was going to settle. It dropped, we waited, and then it bounced back. So it shows us that the likelihood is that the market is going to do this, right? So we executed our first trade. So entry number one. So we sold a set of roofs, right? And then we had a set of floors. Okay, now, so we did this trade over here, right, for a total collection of 265, right, from both sides. Okay, now, but right after we do it, can you see, right, our timing cannot be the worst, right? It's like the absolute worst because the moment I get in, prices started their descent. Okay, now, so when prices are starting to go down, okay, I want to ask all of you this question, right? When prices are starting to go down, I have trade A, I have trade B. Which side, right, do I want to get rid of as soon as I can before the damage becomes too big? Do I want to get rid of A or do I want to get rid of B, right, when prices are falling? All right, welcome, Olivia. Some of you are confused, all right? So prices are dropping, all right? Remember, we are sellers. So when prices are dropping, which line is in danger? Which line is in danger, everybody? The floors, correct? So when prices are falling, right, they are threatening the floor, right? And once it breaks, the losses will start and it will get bigger and bigger and bigger, correct? Now, so the moment it happens, won't you agree that I want to cut this position out as soon as I can? Yeah, all right, and that's what the stop loss did, right? So as prices came down here, it triggered the stop loss A. So how much did I close this trade for? I paid 265 and I closed it. Now, so look at this very carefully. I opened both sides right, for a total of 265. Now, in step 1, I closed one side and paid 265. Have I lost money yet? Can you type yes or no? Have I lost any money yet? No, right? Pretty amazing. I got out of a troublemaker, right? And I've not lost money yet. Terence, does that mean that we won't lose? No. You still have one more. You still have one more player. Right? You have one more player. Right? So as the prices continue to fall, now tell me, what happens to the value of the roof when prices run away? Right? Will the roof continue to get cheaper and cheaper, or will it become more expensive when prices go down? What happens to the value of B, the roof? Right? So as prices go down, what happens to the risk of any claims? It drops, right? So what do you think will happen to the value of those options? It will drop as well. Yeah, okay, now, so we eventually close B, all right, okay, over here, right, when prices hit here. And how much did I pay to get it closed? We paid 20 cents. See that? All right, now, so my stop loss order was set at 265, but when the market failed me, right, there was a little bit of a lag. Okay, not lag, but there was a little bit of a fill difference, $5. I can accept that. Yeah, okay, now, so I paid 270 to close, and then a further 20 cents, right, to close the other side. So the net amount is 290, but I opened the trade for 265. So how much was my total loss? $25. All right, okay, now you did a trade expecting it not to move, but the trade went totally against you, all right, and it actually ended up breaking the two floors. But despite this, you lost only $20 on this trade. So tell me, ladies and gentlemen, even in events like this, can you shrug it off? Can you brush it aside? Because markets don't do this very often, and then continue to click the button for the next trade? Type yes if you agree. Come on, let's go. All right, okay, can you accept a $20 loss on a very, very bad day, right, and continue to trade and make your money back? All right, type yes if you agree with that. Thank you, Celine. All right, okay, now, so let's move on. So whatever that I've shown you over here, all right, there are going to be some of you, right, who are like, oh my God, Terence, what did you just do? All right, okay, don't worry. Why do I say I don't worry at all? Because what if 99% of all this thing I said to you can already be done for you? All right, so don't worry. All right, you just need to come in, understand the concepts of how this all is run. All right, because once you understand the concept of how it's run, right, when the bot, right, is offered to you, right, you can actually automate all this work. So ladies and gentlemen, I spent the bulk of my time in 2025 building, right, this Impossible X, which is the new frontier. Right, it's a bot that trades the way I'm supposed to trade. Right, so how do you make it work? Very simple. Step 1, open up your brokerage trading account. All right, so we will tell you which one you can open up with, right? And then number 2, you fund that trading account. You put your money in. And number 3, connect the bot, turn it on. That's all. All right, and once it's turned on, you don't need to be staring at the market anymore. All right, because you don't need to know where the entries are. The bot will detect it. The bot will enter those trades. Number 2, no more manual orders. Terence, you open the trade and then you submit your, I don't know how to do all that. The bot will handle it. Yeah. Okay. All right. Now, next, no second guessing when to enter, when to exit. Terence, you did this year. I saw it, but I'm not very sure. Don't worry. Doesn't matter anymore. There's no second guessing. So don't miss signals even when prices are going crazy, right? Because the bot makes everything automated. It doesn't have emotions like us, right? And lastly, no over trading from your own emotional baggages. All right, now, so here you see, Teresa just checked, the bot closed with profits. All right, Raymond, my bot hit the profit target? Yeah. All right, last night, I took the bot trade and it was profitable. So Michael, my first winning trade on the bot executed the first attempt. All right, interesting to monitor how it does the trade, right, which we would have needed to do it manually, right, but it does so without any emotionals attached. So this is what the bot does. it opens your trade, right? It submits the stop loss orders once the trade is open, all right? You can see it's the same time, right? And then when the profit target is reached, it will cancel the 2 stop loss orders, and then it will proceed to close your entire trade position. All this handled automatically once your bot is successfully connected, right, to your trading account. So what this literally means is that you have your own money printing machine that is running in the background without you needing to lift a finger. So with these kind of capabilities, right, how many of you would love to be able to get your hands on these this automation that I'm talking about, right? If you think this is very desirable for you, can you type A right now in the chat box, right, to signal automation, right? Type A in the chat box, right, if you love the automation process. Okay, because automating your trading, right, would allow you to capture some of these gains which students, right, have already done and been continuing to do so. So you can see, right, it is not one winner, right, on a single day, right? We have literally on the screen on 7th of May, right, almost a total of 30, 40, 50 winners, right, on the same trade, which occurred. All right, now, so ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, all right, okay, I would now like to extend, right, your chances, right, of creating your own $200 gateway, right, with X Factor trading system. All right, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to bring on another student, right? His name is Sundar, right? And then after what he has shared, I'm going to show you his trading statement, which he has sent to me, right? On the ridiculous profitability that he created in just 1 week trading X Factor. Even he couldn't believe it, right? But let's listen to what he has to share with all of you first. So here's Sundar, right? And his achievements with X Factor right after he started. Everybody, Sundar.
My name is Sounder. I joined this X Factor trading program a few months back. Well, when we started, as many of us, I was also a bit hesitant to start, not knowing certain parameters. Over the period of time, I managed to pick it up. In the last few months, around 30 plus trades, I was able to get around 70% return. Yes, there are market volatility and all those things, a lot of news, economy news, external factor affecting. But the strategy is actually taking care of those parameters as well. For example, the last week were actually very volatile, and we were able to trade all 5 days, and all 5 days are actually we were able to make it as a successful trade. And I would like to encourage anyone who interested to join this program. And thank you.
All right, now, so thank you very much, Sundar, for sharing what he has also done, right, with the entire X Factor trading system, right? And ladies and gentlemen, right, this is what Sundar created, right, in 1 week over here, right? So Sundar traded the SPY options for 0 DTE, and I want you to take note, all right, of the realized profit column, right? Because after the end of the week, from 30th of June to 6th of July, right, just 1 week, right, on trading SPY alone, he generated close to $800 in profits following the system. All right, now, so this is nothing but exciting for all of you, right? And all of you are now like one step, right, and one decision-making process away from making all this yours. Not his, but yours. So live trading results, right, gathered by some of our other students over here. Ooh. All right, now, so Simon, right, the X Factor strategy is simply amazing. After several months of using it on the SPY on a daily basis, more than 80% of my trades were winning trades, right? And more to come, right? Students making $150 a day, right, from a trade they made. Students making $90 a day from the trade they took, right? And more to come, right? Simon, 26 trades, 21 winning results, well over 80% success rate, right? 25% return on his account, right? Another one, a $2,000 capital from Sundar, 61 trades, 55 winners, right? And up by 150%, right? Next one, ES, 58 trades, 51 winners. Still, again, over 80% successes, 58% up on his account, right? And one more here, 30 trades, 24 winners, right? 32% on his $2,000 account. So you can see all our students are not starting from huge amounts of money, right? But they built this and built their confidence with the trading system so that when they come a time, right, they are now confident, right, with the trading system itself, they can start to scale up. All right, and do you need a lot of money to generate something meaningful? You saw earlier, a $4,000 account can make you $200 to $300 a day, right? This is about one of the craziest systems you can ever see out there, right? And why is all this possible? Simple, because the same amount of capital is able to regenerate on a daily basis to create that amount of profitability. So yeah, we make about 4% a day. It may not sound like a lot, but if you keep making this happen, do you realize in 5 days, you're talking about 20%? Yeah, okay, so this is where we do it one step at a time, right? And you start building skyscrapers before you know it, right? So here's Michael, who wants to share with you, hey, Terrence, I'd like to commend you for the easy and simple to understand explanation for during your Zero DTE bootcamp, all right, and live trading sessions. So I know some of the information may kind of be overwhelming for some of you who are listening in, but I'm only giving you the core picture of how the strategy makes money. So when you come into the one-day bootcamp, right, we will start things from scratch. We will start it from the ground, right, with options, with the strategy, right, and the details of what I did earlier. So you'll be able to understand the basics, right? So as a 67-year-old student, right, if I can understand it, I'm sure younger students will be able to do it better than me. So we have a retiree over here, and if you look at his picture, right, it's a big fish over there, right? So what I've realized is he's now traveling around Asia on fishing trips, and he's trading on his fishing trips. So sometimes you get to see him post, oh, I'm in China right now, right, and I just made a winning trade. Oh, I'm in Hong Kong right now, I made a winning trade. I'm in Thailand, I made a winning trade. Right? So I started asking, why are you like all over the world? Are you that busy? And he said, no, I'm usually out on fishing trips. So right now, you can do it whichever way you want. All right, so now he's more confident of executing the trades, and he's sure with time, right, and the guidance I'm giving, he will get the results he wants on his option journey. All right, so thank you very much for the X Factor trading program, where a beginner can literally profit from his first trade in a live session with you. All right, now, so another one, right, Lionel, right, I'm consistently generating $200 a day trading just one stock, right, on the Zero DTE setup. So over 30 days, that's a $6,000 income, right, with a clear repeatable edge, right? And why is all this happening? Because it is built to make it happen. So can you see the idea of the strategy where I'm selling a pair of puts, I'm selling a pair of calls, right, and taking this strategy, right, on 2,397 occurrences, right? It made 1,811 winners, all right? So that's a 75% winning percentage. Right? And it grew a $6,000 capital to produce a $25,000 P&L. All right, now we are not talking about the capital growth, we are talking about a P&L. So your $6,000 account would become $31,000 in 3 years or less. So if you feel that I don't have enough, Terrence, I cannot make anything big, all right, if you keep thinking that way, it will stay that way. But if you start making a first step, right, then the following steps are already building in the process. Yeah. Now, so ladies and gentlemen, this is the first time in this session, I'm going to finally extend my hand to the screen towards you, all right, and invite you to join me and the rest of my students, right, in the I'm Possible Investors Academy. This is an academy of option sellers. This is an academy of option traders, right, which I built, right, since 10 years ago, right? So I'm a professional trader, right, who have become a full-time investor and a very, very experienced option trader, and more so, an option seller. So if you've got any questions related to options, you realize that I've got all my answers in less than 1 second. So this is what impresses my students most. My knowledge of what I'm teaching, my knowledge of what I'm doing, right? And they can see it in my live trading sessions. It gives them the confidence, right? So I'm the creator of this Zero DTE strategy, right? And I've helped more than 1,500 students, right, achieve, right, their financial successes, and you can be the next. So what's on offer? What's on offer today is really the X Factor Day Trading Bootcamp. So you'll come in, you take the X Factor strategy I've shown you today, right? You trade it live together with me in a real marketplace, right? And then you get to automate the entire trading experience after, right, the live trading process. So this kicked things off with an 8 weeks live trading session, right, with Mentor TT, which is myself, right, which comes at a value of $3,997 US, right? So you trade X Factor in these live sessions. You witness how I set up these trades. You witness how I choose my trades and take the ones I want. And you will trade alongside together with me and click the buttons so you see the profits inside your own accounts. Right? So this comes with an 8 full weeks of immersive live trading experience where you master the system. So if this excites you, the first live trading session is scheduled to happen on the 11th of June. So it's a Thursday, the first session kicking off on the 11th of June, right? And every Thursday after that, right, we're going to come back again. So weekly, every Thursday from 11th of June all the way to the end of July. Right? I will be meeting with all of you. We'll be trading together for about 75 minutes, looking for trades, placing our orders to protect the trades so you'll know how to do it. Yeah, okay. All the sessions recordings will be provided to you after it's completed. So if there are any sessions you are unable to attend, don't worry. You can always watch the recording of the session and then catch up and pose your questions to me immediately after. Yeah, okay, so this helps you ensure you'll learn what you're doing. Now, so you'll also be put through, right, a one-day masterclass webinar about X Factor trading. Right, so this masterclass webinar is scheduled for the 6th of June, right, before your live trading experience commences. Right, so 6th of June over here, right, at 9 in the morning, right, we'll go to about 3 p.m. in the afternoon. Right, so I'll train you all about X Factor strategy. Right, it's a webinar session, so you can be anywhere you want to be. Right, so you learn all about zero DTE trading, and I'll get you ready to make your first live trade together with me. Right, so you will also get access to the recording of the session if you are unable to make it on the day. So I have a lot of students who are actually unable to make the bootcamp, but they still join the program because they realize that live trading is the key. So they say, Terence, it's okay. I can watch the recording. I can learn what you taught, right? And then I'll join you for live trading to understand the whole concept. Yeah, okay, so this can also be done. So the key is don't wait. Don't miss another window because the next time we run it again, right, could be another quarter later, right? And we said zero DTE is exploding right now. You cannot imagine how 3 months of profitability is worth to your trading account. So if you feel ready, get it done. Do it right now. Jump in, right? Because during these 8 weeks, you will be given all my live trade alerts. When I identify a trade, I'll send it out to you. I'll send you the opening trade price. I'll send you the closing instructions. I'll send you all the price targets, right, inside the message. So when we get in together. When we get out, all of you are informed to get out, right? So you get notified immediately by me. You'll receive all the trade opening notifications in an instant and also tell you when the trades are officially closed. So in our mentorship, right, it is not a one-sided channel. It's always a two-sided channel. So we create a group where students can post their questions, right, okay, almost all throughout the day, right, but please respect sleeping time. Yeah, okay, but, you know, whenever students are awake, all right, should a question pop up in their head, they'll leave it in the group chat, all right, okay, and I'll come in with my reply, right, as soon as I see it and as soon as I'm available, right? So this is where students mentioned, you saw earlier, the ridiculous amount of support you're offering. Yeah, okay, and I know this for a fact, right? Trading can sometimes be daunting for newcomers, right? So you may want answers when you have doubts and you want to have them immediately, right? Because you're panicking, right? So if I can help you by replying in 30 seconds, why not? Yeah, it's not difficult, right? Because my knowledge is here, right? So I choose and I offer, right, this Q&A support to all my students, right, who are going through the 8 weeks. And it's a hit, of course, because I had students who say, Terence, no other programs have offered something like that before, right? Of course, can you imagine the amount of time investment? All right, okay, this will be like a 5-figure amount mentorship, right, for offering you just this value of support. All right, okay, now, so I'm putting it in today's bundle as well. And when you finish the 8 weeks, I'm even going to enhance your trading knowledge by showing you how to use options to actually own stocks with much lesser capital. All right, how you can generate weekly and monthly cash flows using those stocks which you got from options and continue your cash flow flowing, right, for your trading portfolio right now. So here's Thomas, who also did this in March. He sent me a tabulation of his trading results, right? And then it's been a great X Factor learning journey. So despite the volatility markets, right, in Iran-US war, right, and frequent Trump vocal remarks, right, he made 16 winners out of 18 trades. So that's an ROI of 23% on a $1,000 capital, right? So this is a very recent student over here who's still making the results, right? So you saw Scific earlier, so 11 winners out of 14 trades. So ladies and gentlemen, you are put forth an offer, right, of all these benefits over here, right, for a total value of $10,182. Now, what is your investment gonna be, right, for you to create a $200 a day income? We're talking about $4,000 a month, right, which is within your reach. You may not start trading this size right away, but once you get that confidence, 3 months later, you could be already doing this, right, and making a $200 a day income, right? And if I tell you that your investment to get all this knowledge and the full experience, right, is priced at $2,497, is that a ridiculous amount of money? No, it's a bargain, it's a steal. And it's a steal because you stand to make $4,000 a month for the rest of your life, right? And here, it only cost you $2,497 to get that skill in order to do that. So if this is not a bargain, I don't know what is. But for today, right, for 10 individuals who are committed, I'm going to make you the best offer that you cannot refuse. Right now, there are too many of you. I can't offer all of you the same deal. But for 10 of you, right, who are going to end up being action takers, right, I'm going to offer a deal that makes so much sense that not only will you be able to invest in it, but you will also be able to get started trading, right, and make all those money back. So it's essentially nothing and at no cost to you at the end of the day. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, for today, 10 of you, right, will not have to pay a price of $2,497, but the 10 individuals today will be able to get in the X Factor Live Trading Bootcamp at an official price of only $1,097 inside this webinar. Right now, so I say very clearly, inside this webinar, because when we end it, this offer is also taken off the table. All right, so the price today is only $1,097 plus SST, all right, okay, in Malaysia itself. All right, so you need to add on the sales tax after that. All right, so what I've done today is I've allowed all of you to save close to about $1,500. Ladies and gentlemen, why? Why am I doing this? Because I had students who actually came to me and said, Terence, I can afford to pay you to learn, but I can't have a capital to trade along with you after that. So I can only sit there and watch. And by the time I actually have the capital, I forgot what I learned. And I hated it. I really hated it. So then I spoke to my team and then we came up with this deal. Right? And we said students shouldn't be rejecting this because it's the same price, but I ask you to pay less, right? Which is $1,097 today, right? And you get to save $1,500 to put as your capital in your trading account to start your trading process. Who else does this? No one else. You are paying $3,000 for other programs out there. For what? For 3 days over a weekend? Will you learn anything? Probably, but you'll forget it in the next 3 weeks because there's no action taken. Now, I'm getting you through not just a bootcamp, but I'm trading live with you for a full 8 weeks. Will I make it permanent? You see that it's very likely. So would you do this? You should. Right now, so ladies and gentlemen, the registration link is in the chat box and it's also here inside my slides right now. Right, so we can help you, right, by further breaking this offer down, right, also into split payments, right? So all of you will also be able to grab the deal today, right? That is on offer, right, at 1097 or $598 over a 2-payment plan. Right, so you'll be charged only $598 plus SST, right now, and then the next one is only charged a month after. Right, so why? Why is all this a benefit to you? Because, right, once you get in, you are now inheriting a trading system that produces results that you're seeing on the screen right now. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, the bootcamp starts on the 6th of June 2026 at 9 in the morning. Right, and the final offer today, right, is at $1,097 plus SST, or 2 payments of $598. All right, okay, so choose the plan that works best for you, right, and then get kick-started. All right, and I say this is an amazing deal in session today because we have prepared bonuses. Number one, the bonus is to get all of you started immediately. So anyone who signs up today, you will get to join my current live trading sessions with the batch that I'm trading with right now. Right, so once you sign up, within 2 working days, my team will send you all the onboarding instructions. You can get yourself fully registered and start joining in, right, the live trading sessions with my current students. And you will also get access to the recording of their masterclass, so you can start learning how options work immediately. All right, and on top of that, we keep speaking about automation. Terence, will we actually get the board as part of this program? Yes, you would. All right, so as bonus number 2, right, we have included a 3 months access to the use of Impossible Export for any students who register inside this webinar today. So not only am I giving you my entire strategy, but I'm offering you 3 months access to automating the trading system. Right, so this 3 months trial is actually valued at $497, which I'm throwing it into today's bundle. So the total bundle has a final value of $16,700. And what are you setting up for? $1,097, everybody. Right, this is a crazy investment deal, right, on yourself. So make the right choice, because students who have done it are already now on their way to getting their successes they've craved for. Right? Are you in, or are you going to just continue to sit on the fence? Right? Zero DTE is taking the market by storm. It is now influencing how stocks are being traded. You have no idea. But when you come into the bootcamp, I'll give you all the proof, right, of what zero DTE is doing to the markets and to all stocks at this current moment. Right? So if you're not trading this product, right, you're missing out on a lot of things. Right, and how the market is going to continue to operate going forward from here. All right, so your once in a lifetime opportunity, everybody, on 6th of June, right, at an investment of $1,097 today plus SST. All right, and I hope my sharing in this session has brought about a lot of knowledge to you, right? And when we jump into the next step, we get to the clarity. Right, so today is all about the vision, all about understanding how a strategy can work so well. Right, and then when you come to the next step over here, we'll start pouring in the skills. Okay, all right, now, so I only have Q&A sessions left. So if any of you should have questions, right, please type them inside the chat box right now. Right, I'll be glad to answer the questions that you post, right, before you make the decisions, and then I'll pass it back on to the organizers to wrap up today's evening webinar. Okay, all right, now, so some I prepared over here. Number 1, Terence, will you actually show us how to open up a brokerage to trade X Factor? So inside our welcome email, right, it will actually come with a broker's account opening link, which gives you generous account opening perks and special low commissions, which the platform has offered to me and my students. All right, so you get to trade options on a very low commission bundle, right, and also very generous perks for new accounts that are open. All right, so just click on the link and proceed to open your trading account. All right, now, can a newbie trade X Factor options? All right, you won't be surprised to see that more than 80% of our current X Factor traders all started out as newbies. Right, if you remember Daryl from the first testimonial earlier, right, he was a newbie to options, right, before he became where he is today. So all of you will start from the same level as them. Now, Terence, will we need to worry about this pattern day trader rule thing? Right, now, there are changes in the US that's happening right now. Right, they are looking to bring the $25,000 minimum down to $2,000. Right, but it's still $2,000. Right, now, the brokers that we work with, which is Tiger Brokers from Singapore, right, which allows international accounts to be opened by various country origins. Right, okay, you can actually do this with no minimum. Right, no minimum is required. You can trade as many times as you want in a day. They don't practice the pattern day trader rule, right, which is governing US brokerages, but they don't practice it. Right, so you're not restricted by it. Right, so you can still do your $1,000 account, right, which is suggested for X Factor, and then do as many trades as you want. Right, so how much do I need to start X Factor trading? $1,000 US. I've said it many times today. I'll say it one more time. $1,000 US. All right, now, so Terence, do I really need to stay up and watch the market in order to make this money? Right, it's your choice. Right, if you're a late owl, you can choose to do it manually. But if you are an early sleeper, right, you like to automate the entire trading process, it is being offered to you as well. Yeah. All right. Now, so those are the questions I prepared. All right. The bootcamp is kicking off on the 6th of June. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure you grab your deal, grab your offer, because your day trading journey, right, and your dreams, right, build your dreams, BYD. All right. Okay. Is one action away. All right. One action away, everybody. Yeah. Okay. So you can choose to be Honda, powering your dreams, or choose to be BYD, build your dreams. It is all happening here. All right, so please go ahead, go to the link right now, right, which the team has put out inside the chat box, and complete your registration, because this offer will not last. It is taken off as soon as this webinar ends. All right, so any questions from participants over here? All right, I'm going to count to 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Oh, yeah, we get a question. All right, now, so Anonymous, Mr. Anonymous, or Mrs. Anonymous, or Miss. All right, if I continue the bot, all right, what is the charge or what is the subscription? So after 3 months, all of you will be offered a very special rate as a graduate of our program, right? And the bot is priced at about 2 winning trades a month. All right, so we're not charging anything exorbitant. Right, it's more than affordable over here. The pricing model is about 2 winning trades in a month, right, in order to operate the board for the full month itself. Yeah, okay, so hopefully that gives you some ideas over here, right? That is definitely doable, right? If you like the services of the board, right, to continue your use of it after. Yeah, okay. Where was I? 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Thank you very much for joining me inside this webinar today, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you have figured out how your entire trading process can actually be automated, right? Once you make the next right move, all right? You're going to make it. All right. Now, so thank you very much, Vivian, as well. And I will hand all of you back, right, to Ching Yu over here, who will do the closing for this webinar. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
All right, and thank you very much, Terence, for sharing with our community this amazing opportunity to start automating our daily options income. So once again, if you're interested, head on over to scalendo.com/X Factor. The link is in the chat. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask within the chat, and our team will definitely be able to answer it within the chat as well, as long as it's pertinent to the program on hand, right? And how many of you have gotten massive amounts of value? Type in value in the chat if you have gotten massive amounts of value from Terence and his sharing, okay? And how many of you think that it is possible for you to create your future, right? You know, just share value within the chat if you think that is possible for you as well, right? So Terence has made this very accessible for our community, exclusively for our community. So you can head on over to scalendo.com/X Factor. You will see that there are also payment plans that are available as well. And if you actually go to the site, to the scalendo.com/X Factor, you will get the rundown of exactly what you will get, including being able to join the ongoing group that is already trading live options right now, so that you do not have to wait to learn. All right, so you get the 1-day X Factor trading masterclass. It will be live online and real-time trading sessions on the 6th of June. All right, and you remember, you don't have to wait till the 6th of June to join the community. You will be learning once you have onboarded by next week. Okay, and then you've got 8 weeks of live trading sessions every Thursday at 9:15 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. On the 11th of June till the 30th of July. Okay, and remember the bonus is that you will be able to join the March 2026 batch when you secure your spot here today. And also, for those of you who don't want to manually execute your options trading strategy, there will also be the I'm Possible X bot that is available for 3 months after you have learned the system. And this is the wonder when it comes to Terence, right? He is not just handing you a black box where you don't know its inner workings. You will learn his exact strategies so that when you actually tap into his very, very powerful system, you know exactly what is going on. Okay, so you get that for 3 months, and you also get live trade alerts across 8 weeks, and you have daily Q&A and open chat support, which many communities don't offer this extent of support. So this is absolutely nuts what Terence and the team are doing. And you also get 6 months access to all recordings, special brokerage rates, so that you can earn more through your trading journey. And also you start with the low starting capital of only 1,000 USD, okay, which essentially Terence has sponsored you by taking it off his training fees, so that you can invest in yourself. All of this for only 1097 only. And as you can see, you can choose to invest in this program either in USD, Sing Dollar, or MYR as well. And 2-pay options are available as well, right? If you are in, type in into the chat if you are already in, because we would definitely love to celebrate you. And remember, this is only available for 10 of you during this webinar. By the time this webinar ends, this offer will end as well. All right, so head on over to scalendo.com/X Factor if you have any remaining questions with regards to the program. Our team will be here to assist you, to answer you, and feel free to ask within the chat. All right, so we'll be here for the next couple of minutes. Feel free to get your questions in, and in the meantime, enjoy some music while this goes on.
Bass drops alone, then flow returns, both merge, then separate, rhythm bends, then locks, bass versus flow, feel it unified, bass versus flow, let the groove align tonight, bass versus flow, let it ride, bass versus flow, choose your side, bass versus flow, stay in time, bass versus flow, redefine. Low count and crisp snap, yeah, clean space ready. Yeah, two pairs open in the room, one loose, one sharp. The baseline testing both with start, I'm hovering between drift and control. Footsteps trying the edge, then pulling back the groove. Searching for center, each hit asking for precision. The pocket waiting to lock the air, feels charged like a choice about to land. Everything ready for alignment, edges tight and timing calls. Every move needs decision now. Choose tight groove, lock it in, keep it clean, let the rhythm win. Choose tight groove, hold the pocket, make it mean tonight. The baseline commits deep and exact kick, slam firm, snare, snap, true hi-hats glide, but never slip. The groove tightens into a clean line. Bodies align without effort, the pocket solid and control. The energy focused and confident, every step in place. Straight choose time.